Right now on Hoosier News Source, we'll tell you about 2 students planning to make it local politics.
And I have details on when we can expect warmer temperatures as well as a recap on the major flooding event that occurred last week. Hoosier News Source starts now.
Welcome to this week's episode of Hoosier News Source. I'm Amelia Miles. Now let's take a look at this week's weather forecast with Sarah McCorkle. Sarah?
Thanks, Amelia. First, let's start off by taking a look at some of the photos from the flooding event that occurred this past Thursday. This photo, courtesy of the Weather Club at IU, was taken near the Woodburn Clock. And this picture was taken at the beginning of the rain event, so it was not even the worst of the flooding. After just a few hours, this entire area was underwater, making bridges uncrossable. Luckily for this upcoming Thursday, we will not be expecting any rain, unlike last Thursday. We can actually expect some warmer temperatures in our future. Taking a look at the map, we can see warmer air coming from the Gulf of Mexico that will bring temperatures to Bloomington to about 50 degrees. But unfortunately, the warmth will not stick around for long, and taking a look at what the rest of the week has in store, we can see that after that warm spell occurs on Thursday, temperatures will be cooling off. Friday, a chance for a rain-snow mix at 35 degrees as the high. And then as the rest of the week progresses, temperatures in the mid to lower 30s. So it's definitely going to be chillier towards the end of the week, but spring will be here before we know it here in Bloomington. Amelia, back to you.
Change may be coming to Bloomington as 2 SPIA students are now officially in the race for Bloomington City Council positions. Our reporter Allison Zyhammer has the story.
2 of our own IU students are running for positions in the Bloomington City Council. Ryan Maloney, School of Public Environmental Affairs senior, is running for a District 5 position, while law graduate and current SPIA student Matt Flaherty runs for an at-large position. With application deadlines ending just days ago, Ryan and Matt prepare for their next step in their journeys, to promote their campaigns, to be heard, and to make sure that the Bloomington community knows what they have to offer.
I think we're not doing as much as we could in the town, so I'd like to add my voice and platform and like to help council move forward in that regard if I can be elected.
Flaherty's campaign focuses on climate change and stresses the importance of integrating sustainability into approaches with local issues. Overall, he wants to help improve opportunities and quality of life for all. Maloney focuses around bettering Bloomington as a whole and to help IU students be more aware of what's happening and the effects that things have around them. Although both students are running for different positions with different campaigns, there is one thing that the 2 have in common: that there should be more younger representation. At this time, there are no council members who are students. Both Ryan and Matt believe that they are underrepresented and think it's important for younger ages to get involved.
50% of our city is made up of students 18 to 21, and we need more younger voices on the city council. Currently, there's no one under the age of 35 on council, and I think we drive a lot of this economy, and we should have a seat at the table.
Maloney plans to continue his support of development in Bloomington after graduation and to inspire students to stay in the city and to help build the economy from the ground up. His advice to these students is to get as involved as you can and to make sure that you have time for the many responsibilities that will come to you. Flaherty also recommends being involved and says that there are many opportunities for students to be engaged.
City government is pretty receptive to younger people who want to be involved in the process, want to be involved in city issues. So getting involved, stepping up and getting involved that way is great. And I would say, once you're sort of engaging in that community, opportunities will present themselves for people that want to pursue them. I think it's not as hard as one might think to be involved.
For Hoosier News Source, I'm Allison Zyhammer.
Look out for the primary elections coming up in May. To keep up to date on city council events and at our IU candidates, visit bloomington.in.gov. Feeling like the buses are overcrowded? You might want to rethink leaving the house extra 15 minutes early to get to class. Everyone at IU knows how crammed the buses can get, especially when the weather gets bad. The IU bus system has been cutting back the times their buses leave because there's not as many drivers. This can be inconvenient for those who are heavily rely on the buses to get onto campus or around campus.
The IU bus system, I think, can be efficient at times, but during major passing periods can be super slow, and there's just never enough buses, and especially the B bus, which is what I've experienced with, it fills up right before you get to 17th Street.
The IU bus system is working on getting more drivers so that more buses can leave during the time classes end and begin. To stay updated on the IU bus services, you can visit iubus.indiana.edu. The Little 500 Rookie Week is finally here. Cyclists from all around campus train to win it all. Rookie Week is not just 1 week, but a total of 12 days from February 16th to the 27th. Some of the standard rookie requirements are completing a minimum of 10 hours of bike during the designated week, passing the rookie exam with a score of at least 75%, and participating in a minimum of 2 spring cycling events. This is the time when riders get into the mindset of taking this race seriously. Good luck to all the riders, and we are cheering for you. During the State of the Union address last Tuesday, President Trump spoke about the economy, foreign policy, and immigration. Another topic was his plan to end the national HIV epidemic. Hoosier News Source reporter Andrew Lamparsi took a look at how the plan may affect people right here in Indiana.
During the State of the Union address, President Trump announced his plan to end the HIV epidemic in the United States. Some of the most affected communities are right here in central and southern Indiana.
I think when we look at an infrastructure for something like HIV, or in most cases when it comes to injection drug use, viral hepatitis, we don't do a really good job around the prevention end of things.
Scott County, just under an hour and a half away from Bloomington, experienced what the CDC called one of the worst outbreaks in the last 20 years. Jacob Murphy, an IU student from Scott County, says he saw the effects of a drug epidemic just as the HIV outbreak began back in 2015.
I was working at Walmart at the time. I remember my manager, she came up to me and she was like, hey, there's some needles in the men's bathroom. Can you go get them? And the whole time I'm thinking, okay, this is crazy.
Some of the programs being used to combat the HIV crisis in Indiana are called syringe exchange programs. There's about a dozen of those in Indiana right now, including the Indiana Recovery Alliance, right here in Bloomington.
The programs allow users of injection drugs to return their used needles for clean ones. And now President Trump's plan is to end the crisis within 10 years by providing grants to local communities.
Together we will defeat AIDS in America and beyond.
Specifics of the plan have not been revealed just yet, but it's being met with both praise and skepticism.
I hope it works. I honestly don't know if that would, curtail the entire problem, but that would definitely help.
I mean, it's a very ambitious goal, but I think it would take a tremendous amount of resources and a lot of reshifting the way our culture is and how we think about HIV.
For Hoosier News Source, I'm Andrew Lamparski.
In Indiana, there are nearly 13,000 cases of HIV and AIDS. To learn more about the disease and where you can get tested, visit the IU Health Center's website. Coming up, we'll tell you what's going around the world with our Global Report. Stay with us. Welcome back to Hoosier News Source. Now let's take a look at the stories people are talking about around the globe. International reporter Larmy Sanyan joins us in studio with the Global Report. Larmy?
Thank you. In Iran, Iranians are celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution this week. Thousands gathered Monday all around the country to celebrate the 1979 revolution, which overthrew the U.S.-backed leader, the Shah. People also gathered to listen to President Rouhani and other leaders' plans for the future. In short, it was a message of defiance and resilience that was targeted at the U.S.
After 40 years, now that we have expanded our defense systems and we have developed military technologies in various fields, Of course, the Americans and other big powers know that conflict with the Islamic Republic of Iran would fail.
The U.S. and Iran been in contention since the U.S. backed out of the 2015 Iran nuclear deal. There are growing calls for an end to Venezuela's humanitarian aid standoff. The sitting president, Nicolas Maduro, has imposed a blockade at the Colombian border, rejecting food and medicine. His decision has been condemned by local doctors and the international community. Opposition leader Juan Guaido says the move could be considered a crime against humanity. Guaido released a video on Twitter Monday calling for people to mobilize and protest. Today, meanwhile, the Red Cross says it just wants both sides to come to an agreement.
I would like to see this kind of respect for the humanitarian aid. I would like to really, I hope that both sides will clean the table from this kind of discussion, talking about a lot of aspects that must be fixed in this country.
Raqqa, like many, simply wants the aid to enter the country so that millions of Venezuelans can be lifted out of a humanitarian crisis. The clock is ticking ever closer to a possible no-deal Brexit, and businesses are showing signs of concern. A sudden introduction of customs barriers and trade tariffs could cause costly disruptions and delays at the borders. There's already been $1 trillion shifted out of British banks during negotiations. Many banks and corporations say they are doing this to safeguard their assets. The Russian and Turkish defense ministers met in Turkey Monday to discuss the situation in Syria's Idlib province. An excerpt of a joint statement released by the Russian military stated that the two countries agreed to, quote, continue cooperation between the intelligence services and the armed forces to establish peace and maintain stability in Idlib. This comes ahead of a meeting Thursday between the leaders of Russia, Turkey, and Iran to discuss Syria in the Russian city of Sochi. Finally, tonight, a new study warns that insect populations around the world are falling dramatically. This could have a potentially catastrophic effect on the planet. That's according to a study published in the journal Biological Conservation. It says more than 40% of insect species could become extinct in the next few decades. The report says the habitat loss and pollution are the two most important drivers for falling populations. Biological factors and global warming are also taking a toll. That's all for the Global Report this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Larmy Sanyan. Back to you, Amelia.
Hey, Sarah, what's the weather that we have looking forward to on Valentine's Day?
On Valentine's Day, that's actually going to be the one day that's going to be really nice this week. So temperatures in the lower 50s and a break from the rain, which will be really nice.
No rain?
Yeah, no rain.
I'm so ready to not be stepping in puddles. But what are your plans for Valentine's Day?
I'll actually be out of town for Valentine's Day, so I won't get to experience the weather. But what about you?
Well, I'm pretty single as a Pringle, so I'm going to be by myself. That's all for this week. For campus and local news, visit our website at iustv.com. And like us on social media. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at iustv News. From all of us here at IUSTV, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.